We wanted to tell you guys a Dartmoor myth, one that we particularly like and one that I really, really like. It's called the Cavalier of Blackadon Tor. It's about a soldier who was fighting in a war between the Cavaliers and the Roundheads, a civil war taking place in Britain in about 1640, in the 1640s sometime. There was a particular battle happening near Bovey Tracy, and Cavaliers started to lose to the Roundheads. And this one particular soldier realised that he must take refuge and hide in the nearby forest. So he ran into that forest and he found a cave at the top of Blackadon Tor to hide in. This cave was situated high above the point where the West Webburn and East Webburn rivers meet. Now, this Cavalier soldier had a girlfriend who he knew beforehand, and she had dark hair, and they'd arranged, if he ever needed to go into hiding, that she would not put herself at risk and meet up with him. Because if she was ever to be found meeting up with a person from the enemy side, from the Cavaliers, then she would be in grave danger. But she still cared very much for him, so she decided that she would bring him a plate of food every day to check that he was safe and still healthy and eating. So every day she would walk up the East Webburn River and she would leave a plate of food in the same spot, and the Cavalier soldier would be watching from his cave, from his lookout point above, and he would see her walking up the East Webburn River, and he would go down and eat his food once she had gone and leave his empty plate for her to collect the next day. She did this every day, no matter what the weather was, no matter what was happening with the war, because she wanted to ensure that he always had his plate of food. Every day she would be pleased to find his empty plate of food, because that meant that he was still alive and healthy and enjoying it. One day, as the Cavalier was eating his food, he heard a voice singing. He followed the voice, curious as to where it was coming from. He walked down the West Webburn River and he peeked through some reeds and he realised that the voice was coming from a girl with blonde hair who was singing. She was washing her clothes in the river and singing to herself. He introduced himself and he decided to show her his cave. They made friends, and every day the blonde girl, who was a farmer's daughter, walked up the West Webburn to the Cavalier's cave to deliver him a kiss. And every day he would receive his kiss. So, every day he was receiving a plate of food from the dark-haired girl who was walking up the East Webburn, and a kiss from the blonde-haired girl who was walking up the West Webburn. The Cavalier, however, started to feel rather strange and not very good about taking the food from the dark-haired girl. So he found that he couldn't eat it. He couldn't stomach the food. But he didn't want her to worry about him, so he would tip out the food further down the river where the dark-haired girl couldn't see it. So he would continue to leave his empty plate of food. However, every day he wasn't eating. One day, the dark-haired girl appeared and she saw that his plate of food was still there. It hadn't been eaten and it hadn't been emptied. This made her feel really worried about her Cavalier soldier. So she decided she would risk it. She would go up to the cave to see him and to check that he was all right. As she was walking up the hill to the cave, up Blackadon Tor, she came across the blonde-haired girl who was also walking up the Tor to find out where the Cavalier was, because he hadn't appeared to receive his kiss either. So they both gave each other a strange look because they'd never actually met each other before. As they were walking up the Tor, they got to the cave, but they couldn't see anyone or anything. All that they could see was a pile of leaves, dry, crispy leaves in a heap. They knelt down beside the leaves and tried to clear them away. They cleared away the leaves to see what was beneath them. And what do you think they found beneath the leaves? They found the body of the Cavalier soldier who had starved to death. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure if he did starve to death. Did he die of not eating his food, or did he die of something else? Was it guilt, or was it a lack of love? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer.